God entered my body like a body my same size, like me floating into you or you floating into me. It is August the 17th, 2021. And I wanted to tell you about a little trip that I took back in 1989. I retired back in 1989 from Estes Express Lines. The very first major thing that I did after I retired was, and I felt drawn by God to do this, it was to go to the Hand of Help mission in Watertown, Wisconsin. It's Hand of Help Ministries. This was a ministry that was started by Dimitri Duduman. If you don't know the testimony of Dimitri Duduman, it is one of the most awesome you will ever read. And I've got to fill in that just about every Romanian pastor back in those days would almost give the very same testimony. Dimitri Duduman appeared to be in fellowship with the Father just like I am. That means seeing non-stop visions from God. Dimitri Duduman was showed a lot of end-time visions, and I was showed the very same things. Now, why hasn't God done what he showed Dimitri Duduman and me and Henry Gruver and some others, what he was going to do? Well, the world doesn't need to end as long as God's got one witness in it. That's what he told me. And it is the Bible. It says, except the Lord have one witness. You can find that scripture. I'm tired. I'm driving my semi-truck. I'm in it right now. I'm seeing visions from God right now. Anyway, go on Hand of Help Ministries website. Michael Boldea is the grandson of Dimitri Duduman, and he's president of that. Michael Boldea has seen more miracles than you and I probably have read about. He has seen them. He's seen Dimitri Duduman pray, and he's seen these miracles. Now, when I went down there, Gene Schmidt is the one that's running it's a warehouse is what it is, but that ministry is kind of being ran out of Watertown, Wisconsin. Now, the orphanage that God had Dimitri Duduman build is in Romania somewhere, Bucharest, somewhere. Anyway, Dimitri wrote a book, and it is one of the most powerful books. If you had the Bible on one side and Dimitri's book on the other side, you're probably going to find Dimitri's book more awesome than the Bible. That's a pretty strong statement, ain't it? All those apostles in the Bible had the same experience as Dimitri had, but Dimitri writes it in a language that you and I will understand. Or Dimitri saw visions from God and wrote what they told him to write. But anyway, irregardless of who it was, you know, Dimitri had to be either led by God to write everything that's in that book, or he saw visions and wrote. But anyway, it is one of the most, it's called Through the Fire Without Burning. Get that book, and I promise you, you will read. I'll tell you what I used to do. I used to just open up a page and put my finger down and read right there. That's how many miracles are in that book. How many awesome experiences and things. You can open that book near the back, near the front, in the middle, and just put your finger down. And wow. I've prayed for a lot of sick people, and God has healed them. But right now, God won't do anything to prove He is inside my body. He won't do anything right now to prove that, except the visions that I'm seeing. But Gene Schmidt and his wife, Ann Schmidt, are still running that orphanage in Watertown, Wisconsin. And remember, the purpose, the mission of that warehouse in Watertown, Wisconsin is to do lots of things, but money has got to go to the orphanage in Romania, or the children won't be fed. Now, I'm not soliciting money directly for the Hand of Help Ministries, but I will say this, if you donate to that ministry, you're going to help feed children in Romania. I've seen pictures of some of these children. Some of them, they were all left by their parents for one reason or another. But some of them are in pretty bad shape. Some of them have crossed eyes, scars on their face. You know, it's hard. It would probably break your heart if they told their story. And I can't tell their story. But anyway, go on the Hand of Help website and email them. Find out about them. Read some of the visions that God gave Dimitri Goodman. Michael Badea is receiving a lot of visions. Gene Schmidt's receiving a lot of visions. And Schmidt, if you're watching this video, I know that you're seeing visions from God. You just didn't put them online. I remember Virginia Boldea, one of the most awesome visions on the internet. She put on there shortly before she died. I remember one day I just decided to look her up to see what was going on with her, and I found out she was dead. I couldn't believe it. At 44 years old, she was mother to all those children at that orphanage. And I was angry at God about that. I really was. I thought, how in the world could you let something as needed as that die? And the Lord was appearing in visions and telling me that He isn't the one that caused it. But He did tell me that she was always worrying. And I would imagine so. You know, if you've got a couple of hundred children in your orphanage and nothing is coming into it, and you're living in Romania where the government won't give you one bit of help, and will bring you children on top of that. Hand of Help Ministries. Now anyway, I went down there. Gene Schmidt sings like Alice Cooper. He's got a beautiful voice. He's got hundreds of songs. Gene Schmidt he's got #1 hits. If they were on the radio, they would be #1 hits. He has got some of the most powerful music. When you start listening to him, you won't stop. One of his songs, I forget the name of it, but he talks about, as far as the east is from the west, in your life I will be blessed. I forget the name of the song. He gave me a tape. Gene Schmidt will come to your church and sing and minister. Michael Badea will come to your church. But I went there and Gene Schmidt let me stay in his house. And they were very nice to me. I got to go to a church service that was in another house. It was pastored by Pastor Ken. And now Ken has a church somewhere. But anyway, Ken was a real good pastor. He was tired. He probably worked a job somewhere. Everybody that showed up was tired. But Ken still preached and taught. Mainly teaching. For probably close to 2 hours. To tired people. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I really did. He was quoting scriptures. But anyway, Gene let me stay in his house, and God spoke to me and He said, you are in danger, go. He didn't tell me what that danger was, so I left. But I never made it out of Watertown, Wisconsin. See, when I left Indianapolis, it was about 50 degrees. When I got in Watertown, Wisconsin, it was cold, but it got colder as the night came on. That's close to Canada. It got probably 4 or 5 below zero. My antifreeze in my radiator froze up. I went to the Goodyear dealership down there, and they gave me some antifreeze, some used antifreeze, and I put it in there and that thawed out. I don't know if that's what the danger was. If that antifreeze froze hard as a rock, the car probably would have been trashed. But I would have rode the bus home. It wouldn't have been no big deal. It was a 1978 Ford Fairmont. But if you will, go on to the Hand of Help website If you type in Google Hand of Help Ministries, or Michael Boldea, or Dimitri Duduman, Gene Schmidt, that's SCHMIDT, and just check that out. Now, I want to lastly say, is it a bad thing to help out an orphanage? Is it? It's not, is it? What if you were the one that was living in that orphanage? There are all kinds of orphanages all over the world. The ones in America are spoiled compared to the ones overseas. But by spoiled, still, it's a good place for a kid to be if there's nowhere else to go. All their needs are met here in America. But when you go overseas where there's no money and there's no government aid and the people are all broke and mainly farmers living all around you, you don't get too much donation. Is it a bad thing to help out an orphanage? Go on to the Hand of Help Ministries website and look into that. Email them, encourage them. If you won't help them out, pray for them. Right after God entered into my body back in '97, I was listening to the Prophecy Club. The Prophecy Club was ran by Stan Johnson, and he was getting some awesome speakers, very awesome speakers. But Dimitri Duduman was by far the one that stuck out above all the rest. But there were more powerful speakers on there like Dimitri Duduman, like Henry Gruber. Deagle was his last name, I believe. I forget what his first name was. But the list goes on and on and on. I just can't remember the names right now. Jonathan Hansen. Jonathan Hansen, wow. He's still pastor in a church somewhere. World Ministries International or something like that. But anyway, go on to the Prophecy Club website. Go on to the Hand of Help Ministries website. And Hand of Help, read some of the visions that God gave Dimitri Duduman. Write them. And tell them you're thinking about them. Request prayer for them at your church. And not only them, but all orphanages. Because orphanages depend on people that are outside the orphanage to keep it going. I could have went down there, and I'm almost crying as it's hard for me to say it. I don't think I could have bared what I was about to see if I went down there. But this was back when the orphanage would have been experiencing its most prosperous time. Now the great falling away, which is being caused by me, is taking place all over the world. I'm advertising on YouTube and Facebook in most countries of the world. On YouTube, I only advertise in English-speaking nations, but on Facebook, I advertise in most countries. And like I just got done advertising in the Filipinos, in the Philippines. The Philippines is mainly a nation that goes to church. And I got 30,000 likes for $100. And I got many shares. So that nation right now, there's many people walking around knowing that they don't have the baptism of the Holy Ghost and knowing that the Bible requires it. In Filipino language, that would be something like Dios. I can't pronounce them words. So right now I'm advertising in most of the Arabic-speaking nations. But anyway, I'm going to end this video. Please write Hand of Help. Get on their website. Check them out. See if it's something that God might lead you to get involved with. My name is Bob Hickman.